Hello, fiends, friends, and familiars, and happy 2026. This is Matt Orozco from Macabre Daily, and I am joined once again by an outstanding human being. We have with us Vinny Pacifico, who is a professional wrestler and also someone who's he's getting his feet wet in the horror acting community, but also a lifelong horror fan himself. And Vinny, I'm going to give you a quick intro here, but please feel free to correct me if I get anything wrong here.
Awesome.
You are a world traveled professional wrestler, having worked with organizations like AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, some really heavy hitters in the space. But you've also started to get your foray into acting and stunt work, and you're doing
Yep.
quite a few genre films, including Crimson Harvest, Family Ties, Within the Cracks, a Fragmented Mind anthology. So, how'd I do? Did I capture Vinny Pacifico accurately?
You did, yes, you did good. There's some other hard stuff I've done, but you did a really great job. Perfect actually.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's been a really fun journey. Honestly, this the last half of last year, the end of last year was just absolutely phenomenal when it came to just horror and acting and just doing what I'm doing. It's been really fun.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well, I know you're a lifelong genre fan, and we're going to get into kind of your background with horror. I think folks will be most curious to know how did you get your start in wrestling? Because I think if you look at the Venn diagram of wrestling fans and horror fans, there's a pretty big overlap for a lot of us that have been, that used to watch the old WCW and WWF, and then of course seeing them transition and the emergence of ECWs and now AEW. So, what was your kind of first introduction to wrestling, and what made you realize you wanted to become a wrestler yourself?
Great question. SmackDown versus Raw 2007. The video game. I was watching it at my cousin's house, and it's the Boogeyman versus Rey Mysterio, two people who look absolutely incredible, and it's like the wackiest thing. And they're playing the game, and I'm like, and they're telling me, "Oh, let's watch it tonight on TV." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, this is real. This is actually a thing. It's not just a video game." And we ended up watching it, and the Boogeyman, the little Boogeyman, the worms. It was just a crazy thing. Again, I love the spooky suspense stuff. So Boogeyman was like one of my first people. I like, oh my god, this is so cool. Pretty funny. He kissed my mom on the hand when we at a meet and greet. But I was like 8 or 9. But I just loved pro wrestling so much. And growing up, I watched it. John Cena, Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, all those guys who were just amazing. The Rock, Batista, all those guys. And yeah, so I started. I was playing football for a very long time. I got bullied a lot in school, and for being a wrestling fan also. And I kind of just in high school, I said, you know what, Dad? I was playing football, quarterback. I said, Dad, I want to wrestle. I don't want to live life with regrets. I love football, and I appreciate you so much for supporting me in football. But Dad, I want to try wrestling. I was 14, and he says, you know what? We'll do it. I went to a meet and greet in the city with Daniel Bryan, and I asked him advice. I went to a live TV show as an audience member for a John Cena talk show, and I asked him for advice. Those are my two favorites. They were so motivating and so awesome to talk to, and I said, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do. So I started training at 14. I started a couple years of training. I had my debut at like 16 and a half. And I
Wow.
just been, hit the ground running nonstop, traveling every single week. For years. I'm 26 now, so it's like I'm doing this in 12 years
Oh, 10
almost.
years. Wow. 10,
Yeah.
12 years. Yeah.
So it's just nonstop, and it's just I'm very thankful. I have to say this for my wife because I don't know how she puts up with me. Always traveling, always being away, always. I do bring her a lot of the international stuff. I 50 different countries. I brought her with me, and for the international travel because again I don't want to be away for weeks without my
Right.
person. So I tend to I done that. That's makes up for a lot of the travel that I'm not here when I'm in the States, but she's very supportive, and I'm thankful beyond anything.
Well, it's so nice that you've given her that recognition because as someone who loves watching Dark Side of the Ring, you always hear about the wives and the former wives of some of these wrestlers and just like how frustrating it can be for them to live basically solitary lives, raise families almost by themselves. And
Yeah.
obviously we know so much more now than we did then, so it allows us to kind of learn and grow. So one, kudos to you for acknowledging the support your partner provides, but also kudos to them for being a great partner in the process, and to your dad for, being supportive of the pivot. Because I know there's a lot of parents that may not always say, yeah,
Hmm.
go do that thing.
it's weird because it's like it's an industry that you just walk into and you have no really idea of like what to expect, you know. And even for my wife, you know, she's not a wrestling fan. She wasn't. She met me. We were just like, oh hey, this is who I am. I wrestle. You know, I travel every week and all this stuff. And she was like, since day one, she never really had a problem with it. She never really thought anything of it. And it's crazy because I see so many people and they have fights with their wives or there's all these different things that could possibly happen. But I always make sure that my wife knows that no matter what happens, I'm coming home to her at the end of the night, you know, and that's something that I think is something that I, she had to know always because I don't want anyone ever having any worries about me traveling and doing these. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
people on the road, infidelity on the road, all that stuff, and you see people doing that, and it's like, no. So yeah, I've done my part in trying to make sure my wife is comfortable with everything as well, you know. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey. It really has. And yeah, I can't even believe my parents actually trusted me to like, okay, you know, you're not gonna go be a doctor instead or a firefighter or a city job. No, I'm gonna wrestle. But it's really cool that I've gotten to do that because now it allows me to, now that I'm starting to act, my first real film I did was a wrestling horror movie. About a year, a little over a year ago, maybe, yeah, and yeah, and
What
that
was the
kind
name
of,
of it?
so it's not out yet. We're getting ready to put it
Okay.
soon. It's called Mr. Reset. It's gonna be coming out. We're looking at dates pretty soon at just distribution and where we're putting it and how we're marketing it and putting out a book and stuff like that and just writing future stories as well because it's a really crazy story and the person who wrote it is just a madman. Like he's a genius. Like just the way he put it together with wrestling psychology and horror and just, I love it. And it's something that he had me, he trusted me as the lead actor for this, and I've given it my all, and I just am very excited. So he called me last night and said, "Hey, you know, I think we're gonna release this. I think I'm ready." Like he had some times where he was like, "You know what, I want to change this, or I want to do this, or I want to maybe write this out." But he's like, "You know what, Vinny, we're gonna launch this shit because this is something that's
Oh yeah.
special, and I think we do something really good with this stuff." And I'm excited.
I mean, I'm excited because there's only really been one wrestling horror movie that I can think of.
Which one?
Dark Match. It's the only one. And it came out a couple years ago. So it's not like we've been, this has been happening for a while, but the just the theatrics of professional wrestling have always lent themselves so well to genre. I mean, as a horror fan, I grew up loving Sting and The Undertaker because they most kind of like the Boogeyman, right? It's like
Yeah,
they're the ones that look most like the people that I would want to root for because they kind of look like the people that would kill somebody in a horror movie. Um,
exactly.
so I think that there is so much to be explored there, and clearly with your not just ability on the technical level, but also your passion for genre, it's a
Mm.
perfect harmony to have someone like yourself in a role like that. So I
Thank you.
can't wait to see it,
Thank
and I'm
you.
sure I'm not alone there either. But I've read some other interviews you've done to get a sense of who you are as a person. I know some of your heroes are being folks like John Cena, so hopefully you're following in his footsteps, kind of moving out of
Thanks.
wrestling into acting, but also folks like Shawn Michaels who are fucking institutions in the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
What's been maybe for you one of the most humbling moments in your career? And I don't mean humbling like, oh, I got the shit kicked out of me and felt humble about it. More just like, wow, these are the fruits of my labors and soaking it all in.
Great question. Wow, because that's a loaded question because I've had some moments recently where I sit back and I'm like, wow, I really just got to wrestle in a sold out crowd in Germany, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, Dubai, and I'm sitting here and these crowds are chanting, "Please come back at me," and I'm like, wow, like that right there is something that it's so special. It really, it's just like it makes me almost cry because it's like I'm just a kid from Staten Island, you know, and it's just a beautiful thing for people to actually enjoy seeing me. Um, wow, yeah, that's something that I really beautiful thing. Getting to be on the Freddie Prinze Jr. podcast as well was a big one for me.
I saw that.
So I
Really
love Freddie.
cool.
Great. I was a fan of him as a kid growing up, and that felt that opportunity was amazing. He's an amazing human being. I love him. Um, and one humbling moment on the flip side was I just traveling. I had 2 3 months where I was home for like a week and just wrestling, and I got home. I wake up in the morning and I was like, "Holy shit! I am in so much pain, more pain than I have like ever been in, like sore wise." And I've taken note of this because I've spent so long in my early 20s flying cross country back and forth every week almost, and not having a neck pillow, not doing stretching, not getting acupuncture done, not get you have to take care of your body. As
Yeah.
much as you take care of your mental, physical is very important as well. You know what I mean? But I think I always say mental health is so important because that is where you live. You live in your mental health. You live there. That's where you are every day.
Right.
That's to be healthy. But also, me being a performer, wrestling, acting, and even modeling, you have to always be on your game, you know, or at least taking care of what you can take care of. So that was humbling for me to be like, wow, I couldn't get I got out of bed, but like I was like, wow, that was the first time I ever felt like getting out of bed was like hard, you know, because I was
Yeah.
traveling so much, and it's like that was humbling. I'm like, okay, I am a human being. I have to, you know, really get my back cupping on my back, which is very healthy. I love that shit. But yeah, so that's another humbling moment on the flip side of the good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's especially our bodies, like the way we relate to them when we're young in our 20s in particular, to some extent your body is kind of indestructible because you can put a lot of damage to it and you will recover. But the older you get, I just turned 40 last year and like
Mhm.
I had a herniated disc at age 25. And so
Oh
like
wow.
it's just like you take these things for granted until you don't, until you can't. And your body is one of those things where, you think, oh man, I pulled my muscle in my back. How much could it hurt? Next thing you know, if you can't move without pinching a sciatic nerve and freezing your body up, you'll question everything. It's like I can't even get out of a car, you know?
It's
So
brutal. It's brutal. It really is. It's one of those things you have to just take care of your body as however you can. If you're able to take the minute and take the 5 minutes to do it. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
I mean, that's what I
Um,
do stretching I mean, I work very hard to keep this very average dad bod, but I do make it a point to stretch it. So that way I know that like, I guess, especially with my back, I just don't want you have, once you've had that feeling like you had when you kind of wake up like, holy shit, I am bruised and beaten. And I think I probably could have smoothed some of this out if I did something a little bit differently. That's a lesson.
exactly. And those things you gotta learn. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, and one of the hardest things also is mental health. That's what, like, as an athlete, as a talent, as a actor, you are constantly doubting yourself, looking in the mirror. Ah, I hate the way I look consistently, and that's another problem that
Yeah.
us people go through. So it's like have to recognize those things and just kind of give yourself some grace. That's kind of what I've been trying to do lately as well. Like, you know, yeah, that's
You're
something
you're
I
wise
do.
beyond your years, Vinny, because these are things that I didn't learn until I was in my mid 30s, and I'm still trying to figure out. But
Thank you.
for so long, I convinced myself I didn't have an anxiety disorder, and my ADHD was nothing to worry about. And lo and
Mhm.
behold, it's not the case. We all got something we're struggling with. So the
It's a
more
real
we can
thing.
acknowledgement and lean into it and make it, own it ourselves, the better.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's one of those. It's just yeah, it's just one of those things you like. You know, for years ago, no one really said anything about that. They didn't really, but now it's. I think it should be mentioned and it should be pushed out there that you know it's okay to go through these things and you should, you know, you know, deal with like you have to. I mean, personally, for me, like it's hard for me to like cope with it. You know, like I hate the way I look in the mirror. You know, I have anxiety about the next flight I have. Like, oh shit, I gotta pack. You know, it's a real thing. And doubting myself, imposter syndrome. These are all things that I go through a lot, you know, and I'm like, I don't deserve this. Why am I getting up? Why am I getting this opportunity? And I will feel bad for certain opportunities that I get. You know what I mean? Because I feel like
Yep.
so it's one of those things where, you know, I try to always now say, you know, give myself some grace. You know, I work very hard. And I'm grateful for everything I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, that's the mindset that's going to take you even further than you already are. So,
Thank you.
I'm here to cheer you on from outside the ring. But
You're the best.
I see from your shirt you've got Chucky on your shirt.
Oh yeah.
You're a horror fan. So I'm curious to know what was the movie that really made you that way? What was the one you saw? You're like, holy shit, that scared me. I need more of that. Or I love this. Didn't scare me, but I really need more of it anyway.
So I'll say my first ever horror like experience. I don't know how old I was. I must have been 6, 7, no pun intended, years old. Sorry. I was at my grandma's house in Florida, and Halloween was on. I think it might have been Halloween 2, or it might have been 1. And I was like, it was so scary that it just I couldn't stop watching. And my dad was like, I watched it. I eventually told my dad, "Oh my god, I'm watching this thing. This is really scary. What is this?" And he had to explain to me how far Haddonfield, Idaho, like that's where Idaho was from Florida, where we were at the time. Like, don't worry, he's not gonna. If he was real, he's not gonna get you because he's that far away. But he's not real. And I kind of after that, I was like, you know what? I like this. I enjoy this stuff. This is I like getting spooked. I enjoy this. So my horror fandom really, you know, when it's Halloween, it's Chucky, it's Jason, it's Freddy. It's really
It's the
the
Mount Rushmore
classics.
of 80s horror.
Yeah, it's those are my favorite. I enjoy those the most. I haven't dipped my toes so much into the new stuff as much as I want to. I love Terrifier, obviously. I love clown movies. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big fan of I think it's called Clown, that movie. Mockingbird, that's a very good movie. If you haven't seen it,
Super depressing.
which one? The one that has like
Mockingbird.
is it the right one that I'm mentioning? Is it the one that like has a clown in it, right?
Oh no, I'm thinking of something different then. I'm thinking of Nightingale. Sorry, I had the wrong title in my head. I have not seen the one you're talking about. So
Mockingbird. If you haven't seen it and whoever's watching hasn't seen it, you have to see this. It's such a weird, different type of movie, but I have to watch it like 5 times to understand what it's. So it's just a different format of movie. It's not like a regular playthrough movie. It'll stop and write like titles for each different scene, and you have to like puzzle it in your brain. It's really really cool. I love it. That's one of my favorites actually. I haven't mentioned that in a while because I just haven't like thought about it. But I'm like, wow, a movie I really love, that one, Mockingbird. It's different, underrated, and I hope that they made great money on that movie because they deserve it. And yeah, I haven't, like I said, expanded as much as I want to on this on the new stuff that I see a lot. Um, I also am a huge fan of the Universal monsters: Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy, Wolfman, Invisible Man. I sit with my father-in-law and I watch those with him religiously. That's my. It's a weird fandom that I have, but those are who I love most.
no, I mean I think what your fan speaks to is kind of the legacy of horror greatness.
Yeah.
The Universal monsters I think are something that I didn't actually appreciate until I got older, which is like because it's one of those things like your parents or your grandparents tell you, oh, these movies were scary when I was a kid. Like that's not shit. We've got Michael Myers and we've got Jason Voorhees. Like there's nothing compared to Frankenstein. But
Exactly.
you go back like, as you get older, you want to go backwards. And I think a lot of what's unique about horror fans, I think, in relation to other type genres of film, is that a lot of us like to go backwards as opposed to going forwards. We
Yeah.
we tend to watch more of what's come before as opposed to always jumping on the newest thing. Now we
Hmm.
just have so much horror coming out that it's kind of an embarrassment of riches. But
Yeah.
um,
It's
it's
easy to watch. It's easy to get to. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful
totally.
thing.
Totally. And when you think about, your favorite genres or favorite subgenres within horror, it sounds like you really like slashers. What else is in kind of that foray of movies you love to get into?
Jaws. That
Jaws.
I have a thing for Jaws. I love it so much. I think that's the Meg is a really good horror one. And again, like it's different because like I know people love Abigail, Annabelle. Sorry, Annabelle.
Annabelle.
I've seen them. I like them. They're interesting. But for actually Annabelle is pretty freaking good. I will say. It creeps the shit out of me.
It's the
But
doll's face, the way she's smiling at you.
yes, I love that. There's other ones that I watched recently that I'm like, damn, this is really good. Black Phone, the first one, loved it. I heard two was really good. I have to get to watch that.
It's even better.
I heard I have to watch that. Um, yeah, there's a lot of The Mist was a really good one. I like creatures. I like creatures too. Like see The Mist.
Yeah, of course. I mean, one of the best, most devastating endings in horror. So,
Oh my god, I watched that when I was little. I was young, and then I rewatched it with my wife like last year, and I'm like, I felt sick to my stomach for the whole day. You know what I mean? One of those things. Yeah, I love those. What else did I like? I guess you could say Godzilla's a horror in a way.
oh yeah, oh
I'm a
yeah.
huge Godzilla fan. Um, wow, yeah, you peeling me back a lot to everything that I just love so much, and it's like I haven't gotten to talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? So long. It's just yeah. One thing I will say in loving the Universal horror monsters was growing up. I grew up on that. Even though I'm young, I grew up on. My mom always had. I had I had the figurine of Frankenstein in the chair with the chains around his hand. I had Wolfman. I had the set with the moon and the trees. I had everything. You know what I mean? I still probably have it somewhere in my mom's attic, but that's what I loved so much. And genuinely, I wish it was still similar. I almost wish that we could still have the type of movies, like even like showing the setting of showing the old times. You know, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like there's something to not showing the kill, right? There's
Right.
something to that. But obviously now no one really wants to see that anymore because it's you know they want to see the coolest kill or the most blood you could see, you know. But there's something to not seeing the kill and to imagining it on your own, in my opinion.
Oh, there is. I mean, it's often said that our imagination is far more diabolical than what anyone else can show us on the screen. And so
Hmm.
when you leave it to people to draw their own conclusion, they're likely going to draw whatever is most personally terrifying to them, rather than whatever someone's telling you is supposed to be scary.
Exactly.
And
Have you seen The Hug?
no,
It's so another thing that I like. Like I said, I love this type of movie. I love animatronics. It's called The Hug. It's a short film. It's on Hulu, Huluween. I hope it's still on there so you can watch it. It's like 8 minutes. I didn't know it was 8 minutes. I put it on. I watched it. It was 8 minutes long. I'm like, oh my god, I wish I had more. I'm not gonna tell you what happened, but it's an animatronic horror film. So good. Then there was a movie. I can't think of the name right now. It was a Killer Pumpkin. Have you seen that one? He was walking and he was crawling with his
Pumpkinhead
like no.
was I know.
He had arms. It's like a giant pumpkin. They killed. I think someone went to the pumpkin patch and killed one of the pumpkins and ate the pumpkin. And this pumpkin was got mad that
I
it's on
don't think
Hulu.
I've seen it, but no, I haven't seen it. But it sounds great. Like
It's like I said, I love this wacky stuff. It's a pumpkin again. It's a pumpkin, and like it'll use his like vines to like walk around and chase people, and it's so creepy because like it moves like a spider. Ah, gosh, I can't believe I forgot this movie up at
you
school.
know what's gonna happen, Vinny? You're gonna wake up at like 2:32 in the morning. You'll be like, "That's the name of that fucking movie."
Yep, yep.
And you know what?
I
You can DM me and be like, "Matt, this is what it is."
I'm going
I
to.
remembered it.
I'm going to. Yeah, I can't remember the name. It was so good. It was so good. It was just different. I love I love indie horror too. That and that's like a part of it. It's it was so good. So that's bottom line. Those are my types of movies. I love animatronic type of movies. Those are like different. You know, they're creepy and they're real because you could go to the places like Chuck E. Cheese or
Yeah.
Disney and see like animatronics. And you're like, wow, that could be not really, but that's something that could be in a movie.
We're entering the world of AI though, so who knows to what extent that these things might not, you know, actually become the horror movies we've seen them in. And even though you've had like you had this career, you started in wrestling and you started to achieve all this, kind of accolades, but at what point did you realize, I think I want to pursue acting and I really want to pursue horror movies?
Yeah, I think so. I love wrestling so much. I'm gonna do it until I can't do it ever anymore. Until I won't do it until I'm 60 years old. Until I can't, right? But I said, I always wanted to act, and I had the opportunity to do so. Why not both? And this is something that when I get asked advice about in wrestling, like how do I grow? How do I do this? I tell them, you are not just a wrestler. You are a brand. You are a business. You are more. You could do anything you want to do. So many people are just brained to be like, I have to wrestle, only wrestle. I have to go to wrestling every single week, and that's all I could do. And if I don't do that, I'm not doing the right thing. And okay, yeah, I had that mindset. And I'm like, you know what? But I want to get into acting. I want to act. I know I want to eventually. And I had the opportunity to do it. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna do it. It's here. I'm gonna do it. I wanted to do it eventually anyway. And I'm gonna go my hardest. And horror was the one that really came first. And like I said, I love horror so much. I did a thriller. Like Family Ties is a thriller. I guess you could say it's a mob type movie, but it's still a little creepy, scary. It's like some moments. Yeah, and that's kind of where I was like, you know what, I can do everything I want to do. And that's something that I want people to understand. Like you could do anything you put your mind to. You just have to do it. So many people, and I understand, like get anxiety before doing something, or what if it doesn't work out, or what if I look bad. I was nervous my first time going on set. Luckily for me, my first movie I did was a wrestling one where I was able to play myself. But what I was, and I think I did a pretty damn good job. Excuse me, but I put my wife in it too. I got my wife involved. She killed it. She got a
Oh
standing
yeah,
ovation. Yeah, she got a standing ovation at the end.
nice.
She got a standing ovation, and she was so shy, and it made my heart feel good about how good she did. But yeah, so I always say like chase your dream, even if like, and again, wrestling and horror they intertwine so beautifully. I have fans who are like, oh my god, Vinny, you're a wrestler and you're also doing these horror movies. I want to see you in a horror movie. I gotta see this, and I have fans making pictures of me like half into Frankenstein, half into Jason, and like they're AI generated, but like it's cool. Like people want to see it and they're ready to see it. And I love the support I've been getting from doing these things. And like I said, the people I met so far in the horror industry, the directors, producers, actors, have been so sweet and kind and generous, and it makes my heart feel great. You know what I mean? It truly, even you, like meeting you, I said, wow, this we immediately clicked with you. I feel like
Oh yeah.
that made my heart feel good. I like to be able to be myself, and just be me in front of people. That's something that not all everybody gets to have. Like let's say for example, someone steps into some wrestler steps into a movie set, and they're nervous. You want to always be able to be yourself, no matter where you are. Be professional, but be yourself. And I think that's a lot of the time what certain people have fear about is, well, they judge me. Are they going to laugh at me? Are they going to, and I just think to hell with them if they do, right?
Right.
You are there for a reason. I am here for a reason. I love what I'm doing and I'm going to do it. And also, everything that I've done in film so far has not even taken me away from wrestling whatsoever. My schedule has perfectly aligned with everything that I'm doing. I just did a when I filmed Crimson Harvest and Family Ties, I actually did a wrestling comedy show in between those two things. Like literally, I had that booked. I had so it was I make it work. You make it
Yeah.
work. That's how I believe it.
I mean, I think what you've said is something that we hear a lot from other filmmakers and creatives that we speak to, which is that the biggest determination of success isn't, how much money you have or, what resources you have access to or who even is in a film. It's, are you willing to do it? Are you
Mhm.
going to actually do the thing? And that's what separates, I mean, candidly, I don't make movies. And so I'm not someone, I think the difference between me and anybody else is like someone who's a filmmaker is actually going to go and take their idea and make something out of it. And I think that's what separates, the wheat and the chaff and this kind of thing. And it's okay, there's no judgment, right? Like I don't make movies, doesn't mean I can't have an opinion, but at the same time, I applaud and respect the people that do have the drive and the ambition to say, I cannot live with myself if I don't go and do this thing. This means so much to me that I have to do it. And ultimately, those are the people that succeed is because they just have a central belief that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, this is what I want to be doing, and I'm going to help make sure whatever I can do, I can, whatever I do, I can do this thing. Um,
Exactly.
and that's
I want to give my best. I want to be able to get every film that I've done. I want to give my best, and no matter what, no matter how big the role is, small the role is, I'm going to make sure that I go out there and I give my best. And I hope that every fan who sees that and knows that of me, because I just everything that I do, I make sure I give 100% in everything, no matter what it is. So, because I can't live with myself if I don't, right? So that's kind of where my mindset is. I have three horror films that I'm slated for coming up. I have The Forgotten in April. I have another one in April, and I have The Isle of the Forgotten in June. And I have other films that I'm currently in talks with. I have my Mr. Reset coming soon. We're going to be releasing it very soon. That's something that I'm so excited for because, again, it just does a beautiful job of suspense, horror, and like it's more of a thriller, but it's a beautiful. I love it. I mean, again, maybe I'm a little biased because I played in it.
no, own your stuff, man. If it's good, it's good.
It's freaking good. It's freaking good. We use a lot of wrestling terminology, which is like okay, some people might not understand, but we make it easy for them to understand, right? And yeah, I'm so excited for that to come out finally. We like for a while we were like holding off on putting it out because we were just figuring things out with what we wanted to do with it, and now we're like, you know what? We think the world needs to see this. We're gonna release it, and I hope that people watching these platforms and the podcasts and in the horror industry find that out this and just go seek it because it's gonna be something different. I think, and I'm excited. It's been amazing. Truly has.
You've touched on something that's, I think, a lot of people don't think about in terms of independent filmmaking, particularly, is that sometimes you'll make a film and it may not get released until like a year or 2 years
Mhm.
later. And so there is this element of like patience, but at the same time, the idea of keeping working is so that eventually you get to a point where like your movies are just coming out at the same rate you're working. So, I think you're on your way to building that resume of having films come out and at the same time being in process of production,
Exactly.
and like this is, there's been so much of the kind of crossover from wrestling into horror. Because I want to go back to something you said about, you're being people being a brand, and especially wrestlers. Like you are athletes and entertainers, and so I think that you're as an entertainer, it doesn't just beholden you to being one kind of entertainer. That means that you bring a charisma and something that people are gravitating towards. So whether you bring that to film, whether you bring that to, television, podcasting or writing, whatever it is, you're still that person. And I think that's what people bring towards. And I'm also wondering, has there ever been a point you thought, maybe I create like a horror alter ego for my wrestling career? Um,
I
and if you did,
actually,
what would you do?
this is a thought I had, I think on Monday. I was sitting in bed. Are you a fan of Ramstein?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was, and how they look. Do you see the music video for Son with Snow White?
I don't think so.
They're like coal miners. They're underground with like the.
Oh yeah, with the heads with the lamps, the headlamps and everything like that.
So I'm thinking like something like that. I want to use that song, "Son" by Ramstein, and I want to come out like in this black coat. I want these pants that have like these like Frankenstein type boots, and I want like the pants that I'm wearing. I want like these I don't shackles around like every few inches. I want like shackles around my like obviously I could bend my knees and stuff, but I want to be able to have these shackles on my legs, like maybe two or three of them, and I don't know. And like my hair slicked back. So I usually have undercut or like a fade. Maybe my hair slicked back and like eyeliner, something different. And I'm like something like Ramstein like based, and I'm like, I want to do this, but it's just so different from what I do. I come out with the energy drink and I have my backwards hat, my white hat. I have my white zip on, the Power Punch logo on it. Like I'm the Staten Island kid with energy drink addiction, and it's who I am. So it's like that character is so different. But I'm like, you know what? I think fans will be so perplexed to see me pull it off, and it's on my mind.
All right. As you were talking, because my brain just kind of goes on its own tangents on itself, I was thinking you could
Please,
be the miner, but you spell mine like mine, how it's like my in German, like the miner, and then it's I think it's MEIN is how they spell it. Uh,
MEIN.
and then you come out and you have your pitch axe, and then your kind of signature thing is when you get in the ring, you throw the pitch axe into like you stab the pitch axe into the ground.
And the
Um,
fireworks go in the
yeah.
front. Oh, you're a genius. The minor, MEINOR, or whatever, however it would be. Oh, that's freaking genius. Yeah, I gotta do this. I gotta try this. I want to get a little more well known in the horror industry. Like it's becoming pretty quick, and I love it. But I think when I have like a really big horror audience and they're watching my wrestling stuff, all of them, then I feel like I want to release that part of me. I
I
feel
mean, it
like,
happened to Kane. I mean, Kane when he did See No Evil, it got a huge response, and it's a great movie. Like it's a really good slasher movie.
yeah,
And I think that there's such a desire. I mean, again, the crossover and adjacency between horror and wrestling has always been there, and they tend to share similar fandoms. So I think there's always going to be this inherent support for things that combine those two. Because even if you're not a fan of wrestling, and you're a fan of horror, you'll still watch that wrestling horror movie. And if you're a fan of wrestling, you may not be into horror, you're still going to watch that movie because it's got wrestling in it. So you're kind of
yep.
hitting both crowds
And
accordingly.
it's a different type of movie too. It's like it's not like anything that's been done before. So that's something I'm going to say. And I will say this: it's a beautiful. I don't care if it's biased. I don't care what it is. The soundtrack and the music is absolutely beautiful. So that's the thing I'm going to say.
Well, I can't wait to see Mr. Reset. I'm telling you, and I know you've got Crimson Harvest coming out, as well as and you're working. I think is Felissa Rose in that one.
Yes,
Did you get a chance to work with her at all while you were on set?
she wasn't there those days I was there. She wasn't there. She filmed prior. Like she filmed earlier when they were filming, like earlier in the month. I filmed the end of the month.
Uh,
Yeah, but she's awesome. She's amazing.
she is the best, and you being kind of in New York, New Jersey area, like you probably going to run into her at a con here or there because she's all
Hmm.
over the place and she's just the most generous
I love
when
that.
it comes to interacting with fans.
You
But
can tell. You can tell. And Robert Mukes,
oh yeah,
he was in Family Ties. He was in, and such a sweetheart. Like he's ginormous, but like I gave him a hug. I'm like, oh, this guy's awesome. You know what I mean? He's awesome.
and I'm now that we're talking about this, I'm just trying to think. Forgetting his name. I'm gonna look it up while we're talking, and hopefully I don't screw myself over. But he was in I think I know his Instagram handle about it. It's Paul Lazenby. So he was just in that Deathstalker movie. He was uh, I'm forgetting what his wrestling name is. The Mauler.
I heard. Yes, I heard this person. I heard of this. Someone told me about him recently. I don't think I met him before, but I heard the name.
And he does the voice of Marcus Phoenix from the Gears of Wars game. So that's like his
That's who it
one of
was.
his
Yes, yes. That's awesome.
So and he's like, this sweetest dude, and he's also kind of, again, wrestler, but also making his way into acting. He was in the great movie Deathstalker last year
Yeah, I
that
love that.
absolutely rips. So I think you're on your way, Vinny. And I also know, I've got one last question for you because I
Shoot.
saw that you're an energy drink fan, an energy aficionado, it might be, having been sponsored by folks like Bang Energy and whatnot. So I'm curious to know, what are your top three energy drinks and flavors?
I have one called Frankenfuel with me. It's really good. It's got like a zombie on it and a Frankenstein logo on it. It's pretty sick. It's called Frankenfuel. Shout out to them. There's an honorable mention. So I would say my favorite energy drinks right now. I'm not sponsored, so I can't say this by anybody right now. Like I was with Bang, then with G Fuel, but right now I'm, my agent and I are working on.
Free agent on energy drinks.
Yes, my agent and I are literally working on other deals with other brands. That's a little sneak peek, but so as of right now though, I'm not signed any drinks. So I can say this: I love Monster. Monster has really good flavors, and there's a strawberry lemonade one that goes down so smooth. Celsius, I enjoy a good Celsius. I had a pink lemonade one this morning. It was delicious. No fizz either, which is phenomenal. And what else do I like? Celsius, Monster. I gotta go Ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Okay.
know what? Even though I was sponsored by them, I was sponsored by them at one point. I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna say my last favorite is Ghost, but I'm gonna give them an honorable mention because I was at one point sponsored with them, and they do horror. And
That's
this is a
rad.
horror podcast. They do horror really good. Still never opened this. It's just sitting on my thing, but it's pretty sick.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I mean, there is I think I'm with you on the monster thing. The flavors that they've been putting out recently in
G
particular have
Fuel
been no, the monster ones.
or Monster Monster.
The monster ones have been, I mean, that's my vice right there, is I can't resist a good monster. The zero sugar ones too. Those are all day.
Phenomenal, phenomenal.
Um, and I'm a little partial to rock stars every now and then, but for me, if there's a
They're
choice
good.
between the monster and the rock star, I'm going with the monster every time.
Rockstars are really good. Rockstars are really they hit a spot. If I'm traveling and wrestling, actually, you know what? I gotta go Rockstar over Ghost because
Okay,
or actually add in Rockstar with Ghost, whatever.
it's a tie.
It's a because I could go to a show, an event, and I have gone in fridges, and I'm like, I need 3 to 4 rock stars. And I'll say this: Rockstar was the reason why I am where I am. I used the Rockstar in the ring. It went viral, and that same week, Bang signed me to sign me.
Wow.
Yeah, I used the drink in the match. I had a match. We're both down wrestling. We're both like knocked out. I go to the corner of the ring, drink the Rockstar, poke up like like a Popeye, and do my whole wrestling thing, and I win the match and all that stuff. That went viral. So if it wasn't for Rockstar, I would not be where I am right now with these drink brands coming at me. So yeah, that was that. I also went viral with G Fuel. I did a skit with another wrestler named Bobby Fish. He was in WWE TNA. He's legend. We did a skit where I was dipping my sushi, Bobby Fish, my sushi in Chucky G Fuel, the Chucky version, and that went viral too. So it's one of those things where it's like, you know what? I do some pretty funny things, and why not dip? And I feed it to him too. I put it in his mouth, and I'm like, eat this. But yeah, so I've had some really fun with energy drink brands throughout my time, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I was like, this is such an interesting thing. I got to ask, as someone who's a connoisseur of the energy drink, I got to know what a wrestler and a fan goes to when they're looking to get their energy. And Vinny, I'm convinced we could talk for probably hours.
Definitely.
Um,
Got to meet you one
so
day.
guarantee I'm gonna have you back to join a few other folks to talk about on our podcast. But for now, where can folks find you? You got anything coming up you want to promote or anything you want to plug?
Yeah, there's so much happening right now. So I'm very thankful for you to have me on. I'm thankful for every fan watching, and I hope Instagram is Vinny Pacifico. That's where everything goes. My travel, my Disney fun. I go to Disney all the time. We have fun there. I got all my in my. I always put it up my stories. So Instagram, Vinny Pacifico, Twitter, Vinny Pacifico one, and Facebook, Vinny Pacifico. And yeah, so I on Instagram is probably my best one because I put everything on there when it comes to my family, my wrestling, my acting, my horror, my Disney, my other stuff that I love, Universal, SeaWorld, all that stuff. I have it all on there. It's so much fun to just I love throwing things up there. So that's where you can find me. I have a lot of wrestling traveling over the next few months. It's everywhere. Literally all over the United States, Puerto Rico to Canada. I have international travel. I'm talking with a few companies in overseas, and a lot of horror movies coming soon too. And be on the lookout for Mr. Reset because that's gonna come very soon.
Awesome. We got to get you on the convention circuit, Vinny. Once get
I
you
did
to
one.
sit.
I loved it. I loved it. I did
Was
one
it
in Jersey.
was it the New Jersey Horror Con?
Yes, it was
Hell yeah,
so
it's a
much
good
fun.
show.
Oh my gosh, but I want to do more. So keep me in mind if you have any that are near you, and let me know. I'll go to them. They're
Hell
amazing.
yeah. Well, I mean, Vinny, I hope we see more of you, not just kind of in our Macabre Daily world, but also just in general. And I'll
Thank
be
you.
sure to link everyone to your social media accounts and in the post so everyone knows where to find you. And just really appreciate just the time you've given me today to have this conversation. I mean,
I got you.
you've got an amazing story. You've got an amazing passion for not just wrestling, but also for horror. It sounds like you're just on your way at this point. So just gonna sit back and watch your star rise, my man. But it's been a pleasure meeting and talking to you, and we got to do this again.
I love it, my friend. Thank you very much. Very appreciated.
All right, take care, Vinny.
You too.